You've tuned into The Mountain Gardener with your host, Ken Lain. Gardening, it can be challenging, but with these simple insider tips, you'll reap huge rewards. Now, let's tune into today's Mountain Gardener with Ken and Lisa. And welcome to this week's show of The Mountain Gardener. Your host, Ken Lain, here every week, talking about the landscapes of northern Arizona. We are definitely into fall. I've seen frost on the hot tub. I've seen a little bit on the roofs, but my basil is still alive. I can't believe it. So there's been light frost around. So we're well into autumn here. But eventually we're going to get a hard freeze. I mean, hard freeze where it takes out all those annuals. The dahlias will be gone. The geraniums will be out of here. The petunias will be looking pretty rough. And the basils are such a wimpy plant. It's a tropical plant. They'll be gone. And so you're starting to get into where your winter evergreens are going. The maples are in bright colored red. It's beautiful. There's a couple maples that are probably better than others. So you're seeing two main ones right now. There's a bright red one that's called Blaze Maple or Prescott Blaze Maple. That's probably a top seller. Fast grower, takes our wind. It's a good bulletproof plant. You plant it out there in the landscape and you just know it's going to do well. Whereas some of your other maples, there's probably 100, probably more than that, different kinds of maples. That's one that you want to consider and plant in your yard. If you're in the mountains of Arizona where we're exposed to wind and alkalinity and clay soils, another one that's kind of an orangey color. It's called Armstrong maple. It's related. They're cousins of each other. Just one turns kind of orange. The other one turns red. Pick your color. Another one that's kind of less popular because it's gold or yellow, much like an aspen turns color. My aspens are in full color right now. But it's a silver maple. Silver maple's yellow. Armstrong maple's orange. And Blaze maple is red. Pick your colors, mix and match. They're all going to do exceptionally well. Fast growers. We're talking they'll grow easily 2 feet, if not 3 or more if they're really happy and established and well going. So if you fertilize them, that'll really get them going. So those are 3 maples you're seeing. If you see a columnar tree with white bark, that's obviously a native, grows wild up here in the mountains with us. It'll grow in any of the yards where this show broadcasts, unless you're picking this up digitally through Phoenix. Aspens do not grow in Phoenix, but they love growing up here at elevation. I would say from Sedona to Camp Verde, all the way up the hill to Flagstaff and White Mountains and Williams and Kingman and Prescott Valley, Chino Valley. It's going to grow well for us. You might have to put it on irrigation. Water it once a week. You'll be fine. That's enough to keep an aspen going. Actually, any of these trees, they're deep-rooted. They adapt well to our clay soil, and they're going to grow well for you. And you can plant them now. They're good. The one thing to watch, I mentioned water. So I'm having folks go, how often should I water? I'm seeing folks that have been watering like crazy from like when it was really hot a month and a half ago to now we're starting to see a little bit of overwatering, mainly on the evergreens. You see your spruce starting to turn color. You see some purpley colors to it. The pine trees will get some brown needles going on them. That's all indication of, maybe I'm watering too frequently. These plants need moisture, deep soak, but then they really need to air out. They need to dry out. They don't like their feet in heavy, mucky, gross, sticky soil. They'll show you symptoms of stress. And if you're a gardener, you'll pick up on that. Oh, it doesn't quite, what's going on there? The other one is going to be, they'll dry out. So you need to water through winter. You folks new to the area, we can go through long dry spells through winter. I mean, we can go for a couple months with no moisture, but our ground doesn't freeze like it does in the Midwest. So plants are still using moisture. It's slowly, but they're still using it. and they cannot go for 2 months without any moisture. So if you turn that irrigation off and you expect nature to take care of your plants, you could see some damage. This is especially true for container plants. So I've had helped several folks growing roses. What have they grown? Some different evergreen shrubs, nandinas. What else did I see? A miniature barberry. I've seen quite a few folks saying, "Oh, well, how often should I water my container gardens?" You should. We've been watering those about, I don't know, every 2-3 days. Now it's cooled off. You should water at least once a week. Even your bigger, more mature, bigger containers, bigger, more mature. Like say, I've got a 10-year-old rose bush in a big a jade glazed pot. It's spectacular. It's in full bloom. It's glorious. I've got a new blue autumn sage in a big oxblood red container. It's just beautiful, stunning. It's in bloom. Hummingbirds have been migrating through, taking advantage of it. The bees have been all over them, kind of frantically harvesting, getting that last pollen out of the flowers before winter comes. They've been busy, but you need to water those plants. I would say right now, at least every 5 to 7 days. And here's the insider tip. If you're going to grow things in containers, whether it's wood, plastics are a little tricky. I tend to overwater in plastic pots. Clay is the best you can plant in because it breathes, it holds moisture, it insulates better. It's not about the cold with your containers. It's about how dry they are as they go into cold. So if you hear the weatherman going, "Oh, it's going to be a cold one. Oh, it's coming down from the north. It's going to be brutal. Oh my gosh, everyone bake cookies and sit by the fireplace because it's sip tea. It's going to be a cold one." People run to the grocery store and they obliterate the shelves like we're going to be snowed in for a week. I mean, maybe a day if we're desperate, but things they tend to clear out pretty quickly. Plants can go through that cold. They've got antifreeze in them. They're built in. They're like your radiator in your car. They can get through this as long as they're hydrated. So for me, I've got over 50 containers. I've got lots and lots, big patios, lots of containers. I've collected them over decades. And so I'll go out if I see it's getting really cold. Not like this week. This week has not been cold. We've seen maybe a tinge of frost, depending on where you're at. I haven't seen my plants nipped yet. I will, but November, eventually it comes. You're going to get a hard freeze. But I'm talking about that it really spikes down into low 20s, the teens. If you see that, make sure your plants are watered. I'd say for your landscape, if you have new plantings, it is a great time to be planting a new maple, as I mentioned, a new evergreen, spruce, pine, fir, cedar, juniper, cypress. This is a great time. It's preferred time to put those in the ground. If you do that, make sure you water it when you first put it in really well. And then water it, I would say at least a couple times a month. Take a hose and give it a deep soak. That will get your plants, no matter how dry how we can get arid through the winter here. It can go a couple months without moisture. Make sure you're watering things a couple times a month. And those plants will just come through next spring like a champion. I would say water your containers at least once a week. I mean, just every 7-10 days, give them a good deep soak till water's floating out the bottom of them and your plants are hydrated. And then if you see a real cold snap coming, this is probably into December, January. If you see a real deep cold coming, you water everything. A hydrated plant keeps that antifreeze and the structure of that plant going, keeps it flowing back and forth, and they just go through like it was nothing. They don't feel the cold as long as they're moist. It's like you going out in the desert. You can take on a lot of heat unless you forget your water bottle, and then you're going to be fainting about 2 hours in. You're going, "Oh my gosh, I forgot my water. I don't know if I can make it." Plants do the opposite in winter. They do the same thing. It's just they need that moisture to keep them going. We have a lot in store for you. We've got Lisa Watters Lain coming in with your garden questions right after this. Watters Garden companion plants for November are flowering pear, English ivy, camellias, and Vanderwolf pine.
Vanderwolf is related to Arizona pines with fluffy foliage.
It's remarkably resilient in dry Arizona soils.
Makes a graceful specimen in yards or expansive estate landscapes.
This distinctive pine, long, twisted, silver blue needles covering the dense branches.
Carefree and easy to grow.
Shop by store or online at wattersgardencenter.com. And we are back with Lisa Watters Lain in the studio. She comes each week with your garden questions. What are people talking about? You can learn from neighbors.
Mm-hmm.
Well, welcome to the show, Lisa.
Thank you.
How are your gardens looking?
Some look great. Some are kind of going, I'm ready to go to bed.
Pansies are going nuts. I mean, we put some of those in and they are overflowing. Oh my gosh. I was kind of worried the birds were eating all the flowers. So the finches
They're
are
hungry.
coming through.
Yeah.
And I think that, and then I fertilized them and now they're even more beautiful than ever.
Mm-hmm.
They're really going to town on things. So
yeah, they're looking good. So yeah, some things are looking great. I noticed my lantana is going, it's getting a little cold.
Time for a Phoenix friend to take it and grow them on. So even the perennial varieties, there's some perennial varieties of lantana. Yeah. They're going to hibernate underground like a perennial. And the annuals, well, they're just going to die in the winters. It depends on what variety you have.
Right. So I had a really cute little customer. She was in. She goes, something happened to my plant. I don't know. And I'm like, well, got a picture? Let me see a picture.
Yeah.
Well, it was a coleus that had been
nipped.
got left out in the cold, and it was showing it. Yeah. So some are definitely more sensitive than others. Some are hanging on. Yeah. But some are like, I'm done.
Those are tropical plants. That's truly a coleus. Now ours look pretty good, but they're underneath the overhang by the front door, so they'll last a couple more weeks before. But as soon as you get down to 20s, they're over. It's done.
It is done.
Think you could bring that indoors? Coleus.
Oh, sure.
Make a good house plant.
Sure, but you got to get it in before the cold. Yeah, geraniums, mandavillas. Actually, mandavillas are a nice little plant that can easily come indoors and winter over with you.
Plan ahead.
Yeah.
Or just let them go. Plant some pansies. So much easier. Don't fight it.
Pansies, snapdragons, violas. We actually have a lot of the kale and the Swiss chard, things like that left too. That it's a great time to plant those. And you can kind of pluck from them all summer long. And they actually like them because they have kind of a fallish look to them, that kind of a red look to them. Yeah. So great to plant with your pansies and all that.
We still have flowers here at Watters Garden Center that'll make your gardens look great. Anyway, all right, we should go to questions. I have a feeling after that commercial.
Brief interruption there. Okay, our first question is from Marty. She has some roses that are happily blooming away. Yeah. Roses are very happy right now. She wants to know, is there anything special she should do for them before the truly cold temperatures of winter come?
Well, don't treat them like Phoenix. You're not in Phoenix. You're up here. So you don't prune them until they'll bloom through the end of the year, or they'll have buds on them through Thanksgiving, at least into December. They'll flower. I mean, they'll take some frost. They're just over the top. This is some of their best blooms are now because we don't have the bugs. There's not many aphids and thrip. It's not as hot. They can bloom. They'll bloom longer because they don't dry out. It's just a good time for roses.
It is.
Then you keep that structure up and you might fertilize them. That's the best thing you can do. Keep them happy, keep them healthy, keep them plump. Water them through winter, like every once in a while, deep soak. And then you prune them back in March. Don't prune too early. This is the curse of the Phoenix garden advice. Come up the hill to cold country. You don't treat them like they're in Phoenix or Tucson or Palm Springs. You treat them like they're in the mountains. And here we enjoy them through winter. And then come March, we clean them up, fertilize them, and they just go to bloom the end of April through the rest of the year. So it's not complicated.
Nope.
Just don't over baby them and then keep them moist.
Yeah.
Periodically.
Sounds
fertilize.
good.
Keep them at that. 744 all-purpose plant food is like magic for all your plants in the landscape, but especially things that bloom. So your spring bloomers, lilacs, forsythia, flowering quince, rhododendrons, all those things, but also your roses are going to greatly benefit from that this time of year.
Okay. All right. Next question is from Jared. He wants to plant some trees to screen a neighbor's new shed.
Okay.
So he's looking at the blue ice Arizona cypress, and he wants to know how close can you plant those kind of trees together to create a really good screen?
Yeah, Jared, good question, actually. How to space how many? And if you get this wrong, you won't find out, 4 or 5 years from now, there's no recovery. So you do want to do the math or ask for advice. Don't wing it, and don't read the internet. The Google's not going to advise you on how tight to space it. But here, you're tuned into the right place. Jared, we can help you here. What you do is you'll take the width of whatever they say they're going to grow. So blue ice grows about, high teens by about 10 foot wide. Divide that in half. The width, divide it by half, and that's your spacing. So blue ice, if you want an overlapping pattern well above head height and you want solid, those branches overhang each other and just grow, and you couldn't get a cat couldn't grow through there, much less headlights and the neighbor's kids and dogs and everything else. So about, I would say, every 6 to 7 feet would be about right for blue ice, and it will be tight up to about the 10-foot level, just solid. Then you'll get those points at the top because it grows kind of like a Christmas tree or a rounded Christmas tree. But those lower branches you want to overlap so you get that tight pattern and privacy screen. Mm-hmm. Could you space it out more? Yeah, but then it'll take longer to fill in. So it depends on your wallet, how much you got to spend. Go bigger, go tighter, and it'll be faster, fill in faster. If you want to spread it out, go with smaller units or space them out a little bit more, and it'll just take a few more years to fill in the way you want. So,
okay,
we get that?
I think so.
It all. Jared, yes. Come in. We can space. Well, we'll just space it out in the aisleways. We'll show you. So bring out how many feet you're trying to do. I need 50 feet, or I might need 10 of them. If you really have a long distance and you want it tight, or maybe get by with 6 of them.
Right.
We'll help you space it.
All right. Next question is from Tom. He said he thought it was always best to rake up and remove fallen leaves, but now he's hearing that it's better to leave them on the ground. And he also wants to know about pine needles, whether you leave or rake those up, and what's your opinion?
There's no opinion. This is what you do. Here's the science. Stop reading. Google is going to confuse you beyond compare. Everyone's got an opinion. That's a problem. No one reads the book. They just have an opinion. Do not leave leaves gathered all over your gardens, or they'll suffocate things underneath. Especially if it had spotting,
any disease
whatsoever, you need to get that stuff out of there. And so it could, because things, aphids, bugs, hibernate underneath the leaves and they come back. So if you had powdery mildew or a leaf spot, so it's better, if in doubt, clean it out. Just rake it up. That's to just help you a little.
Thank you, Johnny Cochran.
So, pine needles, I would say it's great if you take leaves and mulch them up and chew them and then compost them. That's great stuff. Mm-hmm. But sycamore leaves and maple leaves, aspens, these are big leaves. They tend to mat on top of things, and they affect the plants underneath them. If you have underplantings, for sure, rake them up. Mm-hmm. Needles. This is where the other extreme goes. Everyone goes, take up, get all the pine needles out of there. It's a fire hazard. Oh my gosh. And they're always, pines do this for a reason. They're trying to insulate their roots and protect it from, they try to suffocate out other seed from growing underneath them so they don't have to share that water nutrients underneath them. And then it also keeps their roots moist or from drying out. And so if you've got a big heavy mat, I'd say 4, 5, 6, 8 inches of needles, take some off, but don't take them all off. Leave a 2-inch layer. Leave some underneath those trees to protect the roots. It keeps them healthy, keeps them from drying out, keeps them from, it helps them to keep the weeds at bay underneath there. It's a great source. If you take some of those leaves, the needles, use them on your other flower beds. A 2-inch layer of pine needles is kind of like shredded bark or something. It's great stuff. Breaks down real slowly. It, again, insulates the soil, keeps the weeds at bay. So, Tom, I'd say take some of the needles out, but don't take them all out. But take all the leaves out. So, if in doubt, take some out. Except for, anyway, we keep going.
I'm hearing contrasting advice.
We are out of time. Ken and Lisa Lain, the Mountain Gardeners. Be right back. Watters' companion plants for November are English ivy, camellia, Vanderwolf pine, and flowering pear.
Flowering pear starts spring with dazzling white flowers, shady green leaves in the summer, and brilliant reds in autumn. Even the winter bark is attractive.
This exquisite tree is ideal for lawns, lining driveways, or specimens in small spaces.
Shop the most trees in town by store or online at wattersgardencenter.com.
So now that we are we can see the holidays. We're past the spooky time. Now we're into Thanksgiving and holiday celebrations and Hanukkahs and all the other, it's kind of the end of the year celebrations. Families are gathering. I thought I'd cover 3 brand new, you've never seen them before, poinsettias you're going to find at your garden centers, right? Well, they're so specialized, it might be hard to find. But, traditional red. Okay, yeah, you can find those anywhere. They scream holidays. And I've sold thousands of them. It's like, but I get bored. Some exciting. I mean, I look at it and go, oh my gosh, I've never seen that before. This is so great. There's one that's inverted. There's a new pink variety of poinsettia you're going to find. It's called Frosted Elegance. Normally, pinks are variegated on the outside. This one's inverted. It's a pink leaf or petal or bract, but there's a white stripe going down the middle. It looks like frost has landed on top of this thing. It's all natural. It's not like glitter's been put on top of it. It's just a freakish new genetic coming out that if you have one, you'll be the only one that's got one in your neighborhood, definitely in your family, called Frosted Elegance. It's pink and white variegation. It's hard to explain, but this week's article that I wrote showed them off. So if you want to see that, go to our blog site, go to wattersgardencenter.com, hit the blog, you'll see it right there. Another one that was kind of unusual, it wasn't red. It's called Sangria Sunset. It's a really deep maroon, actually. It's it's darker than red. It's not a bright red. It's a deep, rich, luxurious red. You kind of go, oh, I just feel warmer. The room will be lifted going, I'm so glad you're here. Traditional, it's not variegated. It's a solid, a maroon color, real deep, deep, deep red, not black, red, but deeper than that. It's got a velvety red look to it. Very unusual, very neat looking, kind of different kind of red. Lastly, it's called Scarlet Swirl. This is a red, but it's got speckles. It's like you took a country quilt and threw all the patterns off of it and onto this red, and that's what it is. It's got this patterned look, very unusual. If you've got a cabin, if you like cottage gardens or English gardens, Scarlet Swirl, that's your poinsettia. I mean, it's just any one of these would be beautiful in your home or a great housewarming gift or party gift for those Christmas parties. They're coming up. I'm already getting overbooked. I just had someone, they just tried to book the same party. It's on a Tuesday of all things, 2 Christmas parties in the same evening. I can't go to both. One's in Phoenix, one's up here. Which one do you go to? I gotta pick and beg out of the other one. Maybe I'll send a poinsettia to the one and go to the other. I don't know. It's going to be a good. We're definitely past pandemic and into. We are very comfortable gathering together and just celebrating with each other, which is a great place to be. You find that if you've been traveling at all this year, oh my gosh, there are no masks on the plane. A couple maybe. Sometimes I just want one going, I just feel dirty. I just feel like I'm being surrounded. Don't touch me. I just want to get on the plane, get in line, head down, get your baggage on and go. It's crowded. Planes are packed. They're full. So you can tell that we're comfortable getting together anymore. Lisa and I we're really looking forward to Thanksgiving. We're actually going to we rented a VBRO or Airbnb. We rented a big house, and the entire family's coming over in San Antonio. So that's most of our kids are in San Antonio. So that let's just rent one down there, get together. I'm hoping that I'll have some of these poinsettias at the garden center. Before it, I'll take some with and give one to each kid. I might take one of each, give one to each kid. They would love that. Or no, each grandkid. Oh, even better. Oh my gosh. My kids, our grandson just got his FFA jacket this week. So photos are going around. So we are very proud of him. Future Farmers of America. Go boy, you got this. So he's in high school, just getting started. Already, a freshman, already lettered in FFA. That's just so proud of him. That's a Texas thing. So it's like, that's not true. Chino Valley here in Arizona has got a tremendous FFA program. So we've got some very good Future Farmers of America. Yuma's got a tremendous club down there. So we've got it going on, but I'm proud of my grandson. He's just kind of doing great. So those are the kinds of poinsettias. Yes, you'll find reds as well. And we'll probably have some whites and some traditional pinks. But to see them variegated or a deeper, richer red or speckled patterned red, so it looks like a quilt, those are your three. Frosted Elegance, Sangria Sunset, and Scarlet Swirl. Those three you're going to find. And if you want one of those, it's like if you can, pre-order them. So they come and they just have your name on them. That's the best thing to do. If not, hit your garden centers early and often. And when they show up, just grab one because they won't be there in the next day. Got more for you. Be right back after this. Watters garden companion plants for November are camellia, Vanderwolf pine, flowering pear, and English ivy.
English ivy stays waxed green through winter, forming a lush ground cover under large trees.
Quickly climbs walls, pillars, arbors, and fences without support.
Use English ivy to cascade over hanging baskets or tall planters with a perfectly shaped Alberta spruce in the middle.
Shop exciting evergreen vines in-store or online at Watters Garden. And we're back with Lisa Watters Lain in the studio. She comes each week just to share her garden advice, just from a different perspective, different, soapbox, maybe.
I don't get on a soapbox.
I do.
I know.
I like my soapbox.
I know. I'm always afraid you're going to fall off of it. You haven't yet.
Let's get past the problems or solutions and go into fun gardening. What do we got?
Sure. So last week I talked about some of the new evergreen trees that we got in stock.
Right.
Some really cool different ones. This week I thought we'd talk about shrubs. So evergreen shrubs. So many people, I drive through the neighborhoods and I see them. They have really pretty butterfly bush and good heavens, I just lost my mind.
I don't know. Medina,
Rose of Sharon, things that bloom and look really pretty in the spring and summer, but now they're not their best. They're starting to go into their dormancy period. And this is when your evergreens really show off in your landscape. And if you don't have a good complement of evergreens in your landscape, they just look boring.
It looks lunar, looks dusty, looks empty.
Winter landscapes. Yeah. It's just, you got to get some color out there in there. Definitely.
Winter is one of the 4 seasons we have.
It is.
You must have plants to fill that season or it will look barren.
And the great thing about our area, no matter where in the Quad City, northern Arizona, we have some really nice winters, fall and winters, and you can be out in your yard, enjoying your yard and having company over, and you want to look good. You want your best. Right?
Yeah. Well, Thanksgiving's coming, right? Yeah. So it's this month. So you want it to look
spiffy.
Yeah.
Okay. So some of the nice evergreen shrubs that we have in right now, I'm kind of starting going low to tall or just variety.
Small to tall is
jumping
always
around
good.
A little bit. But one of my favorites is actually the ballerina hawthorn.
Good choice. Yeah.
Nice, thick, real shiny leafed evergreen. Really pretty in the spring. It puts on a pink flower that's actually very, very fragrant. And then the fall, it usually has like a little purple or burgundy berry to it. So very attractive.
Full sun, brutal sun. Expose it to wind. It's going to love it.
Definitely going to love it. It's just a really good shrub for out there in your yard. There's ballerina, but it also comes in a few other heights. It's kind of the same look, but it also comes in a Georgia petite, dwarf yetta. So there's a few varieties in there, all of them nice and evergreen.
Kind of need a hip high or so, somewhere in there and ball shaped. That's kind of what you're going to get.
Yeah. So I know every time I mention junipers, there's always this reaction of, ah! But there's a really pretty one called the Sea of Gold juniper. We have a couple of those in our yard, in our backyard, which faces north. So in the wintertime, I really like them because the tips are a golden color. So they really stand out in the yard. They get about 3 feet tall, 4 to 5 feet wide. Just behave themselves. They don't grow everywhere. They're very drought hardy when established.
Nothing eats them. It's just a great little plant.
Yeah.
And with those dark rocks, you got mocha rock or dark underplant. That bright gold really is striking against those darker backdrops.
Right. So definitely very, very pretty. The other one that's real pretty is the Silver Princess box leaf euonymus. So this is, it's kind of a silvery white green plant, kind of that variegated leaf to it, a little bit smaller leaf, probably in that 3 foot range-ish as well, but just really pretty. There again, you've got that lighter color that's going to show up in those winter landscapes, especially against rocks, and everything else is kind of drab. They're out there going, I'm here, I'm pretty. So those are definitely nice. There's another juniper I really like called Blue Star juniper.
That one is pretty,
It's kind of a silvery blue. Has a really different, doesn't have your traditional juniper look. Very attractive. And these I like. We have them in the regular plant, like in the bucket plant, but we also have them on a standard. So they've been
standard?
Well, they've been grafted onto like a little
tree
trunk. Yeah,
like
so it makes a little tree.
Like a miniature tree.
It'd be so cute in a container by your door. You could even put some Christmas decoration on it. It'd be really, really pretty. So those are real nice evergreen ones. The bamboos. So everybody thinks it's not the traditional bamboo. It's not taking over your yard. And the ones that I really like are a little more, they're not the old-fashioned heavenly, the domestica, which can get a little rangy after a while. Gulfstream stays about 3 foot. And then the new one that's out is called Tuscan.
That's a pretty one.
And it is a really pretty one. We got some new ones in that are really showing their fall color. Absolutely gorgeous. That kind of red, that new growth is red. And the more sun they get in the wintertime, the more color they get. Both Gulfstream and Tuscan get absolutely gorgeous.
Andina is again, animals don't eat Andina or heavenly bamboo. It's soft. It looks like you just want to go hug it or something. Get some white flower, get some red berries. It's a great bulletproof plant for up here, and it's just as hardy as can be. Evergreen. There's really 2 kinds of evergreens. Conifers, they have needles, like junipers, mugo pines, and then there's broadleaf evergreens, like your Indian hawthorns and andinas. These things have a leaf, but they stay green through winter, like your euonymus. So 2 types, and you can mix and match, and they look really striking together.
In containers or the ground.
That's right.
All of them would do well in those kind of situations.
So plant them now, and you can go. I think you're just about out of.
I know.
I have more.
Like 2 more pages, so you're just going to have to come in.
You got a truckload of broadleaf evergreen shrubs, so the place is full.
And you can see how they look right now. And put them in your yard.
Good time to plant in the ground, in containers, or in a raised bed. Good time to plant evergreens in your yard. Be right back. Ken and Lisa Lain, the Mountain Gardeners. Watters Garden companion plants for November are Vanderwolf pine, flowering pear, English ivy, and camellias.
Ice Angel camellias produce amazing 3-inch rosy blossoms with petals that radiate out from the center of.
Camellias deserve front yard status or admired on a patio or deck.
Well adapted to acidic soils beneath oaks, native junipers, and maples.
Loves shade gardens, containers, and raised beds.
Shop in-store or online at wattersgardencenter.com.
Now, in the mountains of Arizona, at least, let's see that 3,500 to 6,000 foot level. We can grow things year round here. We can have vegetables year round, flowers year round. We can have all 4 seasons look fantastic year round. We do have 4 seasons, but they're so mild that the ground doesn't really freeze. It doesn't turn into ice like it would in the Midwest. And so it thaws. And so it's so nice during the day, can cold at night. And so some plants that just thrive on that. And you're in that transition zone now. So you're starting to see your summer vegetables they're done. I mean, they might have an eggplant, a cucumber, a tomato hanging on, but pretty much they're done. I mean, you pick them, have them ripen inside the house because they're going to freeze and turn to mush. Pull those things out of the ground. They're not going to do you any favors at this point. You're done. It's over. But what you can do is free up that space and put in your winter vegetables. There's a whole series of edible crops that love to grow through the winter. They'll harvest. You can have parsley and kale, spinach, broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts. You can go on and on. Basically, if you're thinking, if it's a fruit, you're harvesting the actual fruit, a cucumber, an eggplant, a tomato, that's a summer plant. So they don't like the winter. They're going to die. If you get to even close to 32, they just stop. They shut down. They're going, I am just too cold out here in the gardens. And it's over for them. The plants that you're harvesting, the flower or the foliage, one of those two. So you're picking off the lettuce, the spinach. You're harvesting the Brussels sprouts off the stems, or the cauliflower is basically, it's a flower. You're eating the flower part of it. Those are plants that love the cold. Actually, they'll perform better. The flavor comes out better when it's chilly. They need frosty nights for the flavor to kind of come around. If it's too warm, they tend to bolt. They get bitter flavor. They go off flavored. And so this cold climate, this is when they do better. So there's actually a seasonality. So you're dealing these winter crops or cool season crops. They do better in spring and fall. This is their best time. So you're planting them in March. You're planting them really now. And you'll harvest those through the end of the year. In January, everything takes a little break in January, including us, gardeners. We take a little break. We're inside, sipping some tea, eating some more cookies, trying to deal with that holiday weight we just put on in January. And then February comes around, it gets really nice, and you just go right back at it, and you get your soils ready, and you're right back at it. So a lot of your flowers are the same way. So you're pretty much, it's done. The petunias, the calibrachoas, the geraniums, the zinnias for sure, on lantanas, they're done. They're not pentas. It's all over. They don't like the cold. But if you pull those out, add a little fresh potting soil, and you put fresh pansies and snapdragons and violas and ornamental kales and cabbages, these are beautiful plants, and they love showing off. They feel beautiful in the winter. They feel hot and sweaty in the summer. So these plants they're just like people. Some people love summer and they just get chilly. They need more layers. I can't get warm. I need a Phoenix home. They're just like the summer. And some folks love the chill. They love a fire, roasting their bum in front of the fire, just looking out, watching snowflakes fall. That's their time. There are some plants that are the same way, that love being out there in that cooler weather, and they show off and they talk to you better. They bloom better. So my pansies, I planted those maybe a month ago because I wanted them to be full and chubby and full and happy. And then I knew when this weather turned, they would just bloom their little heads off. And they are. I mean, they're just covered. You can hardly see the foliage. They're all flowers. And so this is a big pot. We're not talking one plant. We're talking 3 or 4 in this container, and it is overflowing, and it will look like that right through winter because we're so mild. Now I'm up above the high school here in overlooking the Dells here in the Prescott area. And so I'm up at, I think the house is at 5,700 foot level. So it's in that zone where we get cold. I mean, when I'm heading home, sometimes it's right there at the snow line where it's really dumping and the rest downtown is not. So that's where these plants are thriving. And they like that kind of weather. If I get too much snow in the winter, I'll brush off the snow off the top of my pansies. And there they are underneath the snow. I brush it off so they can see the light. There's something about flowers popping through snow that just goes, wow. But it's not crocus, it's pansies and violas. Snapdragons, now they'll bloom to the end of the year. And then what they'll do is they'll stop blooming, and they have that flower stalk. So I'll cut that flower stalk off, but I'll keep the green foliage up because they look good. They're evergreen. They look good. They're good fillers inside my containers or at the back end, middle side of that raised bed or something. Now, but I'll just give them a quick haircut, and they look fantastic. One of my favorite perennials. It is a showstopper. Are euphorbias. Now, euphorbias, they come in 3 or 4 varieties, but gopher plant or gopher spurge is probably our most famous of all of the euphorbias. It's got a yellow flower in spring. It's got a blue, kind of prehistoric looking, like dragon scales going up and down this stem. It's pretty. It looks southwesterny. Another one that's got the same hardiness, the same tough, evergreen, perennial, grows for years and years and years in a garden, keeps its foliage up through winter, is called rainbow ascot euphorbia. And there's a Merlot variety, the same thing. There's a purple one and a kind of a green golden one. But the green golden, it's pretty through winter. It almost glows. The days are so short. It's the only perennial that sits out there and just glows. No matter the weather, it just looks so good. And so I love there's certain perennials you can plant out there that are evergreen, and there's certain vegetables you can have out there that are evergreen or ever producing, and there's certain annual flowers. That is, they shine their best. They bloom their hearts out in the middle of winter. You just got to know when to plant them. I find a lot of folks new to the area, they plant them off cycle. They're planting that last crop of pansies or violas in May. Of course, and then it's just 95 degrees in June. They get 6 weeks of enjoyment when they should have been planting them now. They'd have all winter long to enjoy them, and then they'll finally flame out. They don't like the heat. They don't like being sticky, gross, and sweaty. Pansies don't like the heat. They like the cold. This is when you switch those things out and you put what plants love to be hot and sweaty? Well, zinnias, geraniums, petunias, lantanas. Blast them with heat, give them more sun. They're like bathing out there on the pool side, just going, I can't get enough rays. They just want more sun. They don't like the cold though. So, but some plants do. And so if you're thinking vegetables, kind of wrap this whole thing up. Think in terms of the plants that you're harvesting, the foliage or the flower heads. That'd be spinach, lettuce, Brussels sprouts, cauliflower, broccoli, kales, cabbages. In herbal terms, it'd be parsley, lavender, rosemaries. These are all evergreen kind of plants that love this time of year. You plant them now is when they look their best. You're talking perennials. There are some evergreen perennial flowers. Remember, perennial and permanent both start with P. So they come back year after year after year. But one of my favorites as of last winter, because it just was a rock star. I planted more of them because they just look so good, are your euphorbias, rainbow ascot, Merlot, gopher plant. These are all plants that just stay evergreen. They're low growing animals. Javelina, don't eat them. I know they're eating those pumpkins out there, but they're not going to eat euphorbia. They will eat your vegetables. So if you watch that. They love broccoli too. So they love kale. So kind of watch what you're doing. But you've already got a spot like that because you were growing your tomatoes and your other summer crops out there. If you're harvesting the foliage, that's a winter crop. If you're harvesting the fruit itself, that's a summer vegetable. And you plant them accordingly. Okay, we're going to wrap this thing up. One more segment here. We'll be right back. Watters Garden companion plants for November are flowering pear, English ivy, camellias, and Vanderwolf pine.
Vanderwolf is related to Arizona pines with fluffy foliage.
It's remarkably resilient in dry Arizona soils.
Makes a graceful specimen in yards or expansive estate landscapes.
This distinctive pine, long, twisted, silver blue needles covering the dense branches.
Carefree and easy to grow.
Shop by store or online at wattersgardencenter.com. At the Garden Center, we're getting a lot of deliveries coming in, plants coming from the farm, and we're focusing very specifically on evergreens, plants that are big, full, living Christmas trees. So they're perfectly shaped spruce. Some of them tiny, they're dwarfs. They only get 10, 12 feet tall. Some of them get huge, like Colorado spruce. They'll get up to 50 feet tall. And everything in between. Pine trees. I've got some weeping spruce. If you like weepy, droopy, flowing down, I've got a weeping, it's called Angel Falls pine tree. Very cute, very unusual. But we focus on the evergreens right now. The reason I bring that up is not to push evergreens, but if you were thinking of or you're contemplating a privacy hedge, your neighbor just got a brand new hot tub and they're out there every other night. Sometimes they get a suit on, sometimes they don't. You just never know. And I don't want to see that. If you want to block that off, your neighbor's got a beautiful new RV they just parked in there right next to your house. You want that thing to go away. Living green walls make that go away. Why do I mention that now, this middle of autumn? Well, this is the time you want to plant those. Whether it's a big hedge of red-tip photinias, elaeagnus, privets, or a large tree like a juniper, cypress, cedars, firs. These are all big, thick evergreens. And a lot of them, they don't grow that first year. They need to root. That's why it's so good to plant them now. The soil is still very warm. You can put them in the ground. They're going to root out, and you're setting the stage for better, more extended spring growth next year out of them. So you can get more plant for the money. Yes, I would love to come sell you a bigger evergreen in spring. But I think you could downsize you can make your landscape dollars go farther by planting a smaller size now, having it root out, and then it will flush, come back to new life. The end of March, April is when most evergreens start to elongate their new candle growth. You only get to grow one time. So most conifers, these are evergreens, things with needles, they push their growth in spring, and then that's it. And so if you put them in now, you get to take advantage of that new growth. If they're at the farm, I'll push them out and really try to trim them, try to get them going, really get the size up, and then I'll mark the price up because I've held on to them for another year and they're looking really good. Well, to my friends, you can make your landscape dollars go farther by planting a little bit smaller size, putting that row of plants in. They're going to elongate, and then by this time next spring, there'll be a living wall sitting there, not your neighbors sipping tea, watching you in your living room or whatever. So this is a great time. You can plant now. Here's the mistake many people make. So they plant now. Fall is for planting. Autumn is a good time. You hear this all the time. And it is, unless you plant something, water it in really good, turn your irrigation off, and then that plant's got to go without any care through winter. That's a big blunder because we can have very long spells of no water. If you're watering plants a couple times a month now through, let's say, March, the growing season, it takes off really in April. If you're watering, I turned my irrigation system off, Ken. I can't do that. Well, your grandparents used a hose. Just drag the hose out there, a watering can, just a couple times a month. Really keeps them rooting, takes the edge off, really it sets the stage for some tremendous growth next spring. If you need help with that kind of stuff, let us know. Bring a picture, a quick measurement, and we can help tell you how many of these evergreens you need to make a living wall. All right, that's it for this show. Throughout the week, Lisa and I camp out at Watters Garden Center. We love talking to fans of the show. Watters Garden companion plants for November are Vanderwolf pine, flowering pear, English ivy, and camellias.
Ice Angel camellias produce amazing 3-inch rosy blossoms with petals that radiate out from the center of.
Camellias deserve front yard status or admired on a patio or deck.
Well adapted to acidic soils beneath oaks, native junipers, and maples.
Loves shade gardens, containers, and raised beds.
Shop in-store or online at wattersgardencenter.com.
For a more fruitful garden, increase success in the landscape that just feels better, then tune in daily to the Mountain Gardener podcast. Subscribe through your favorite podcast streamer or visit watersgardencenter.com. Better yet, visit me directly right here at Waters Garden Center. Thanks for tuning in.